Cool. All right, so Brian Gatens here, Subaru Canada Adventure Racing World Championship. I'm going to rearrange some fruit while our first question is answered, because we do like having the fruit here. Congratulations on your victory, Safet. We are delighted for you. You know, when the race is over, it's hard to talk about such a big moment, right? 115 hours of racing, 6 days. So it's hard to capture it in these few minutes that we talk. But if we just kind of go down the line a little bit and talk a bit about the race that you had that led you to being a champion versus the race that you thought you were going to have going into it.
Yes, I think we might have done one of the best races ever, just helping each other out as a team all the time and still having a lot of fun. Yeah. And just don't bother about any other team, just doing our own race. So I think that's one of the most important things to do.
And you had said that in the beginning. We interviewed you before the race started, and you're always very quiet. You're always very quiet about the race because you want to have your race. That was a laugh that we had. And you talked about how I asked about the course, about other teams. You said that doesn't matter. It matters that you racing as a team. So talk a bit about the team dynamic. What made it such an effective race for you?
I can just feel in what Malin said. As I said it to you before. And it's all about the team and not the me, so to say. So the team is always first in every situation, and you need to be don't have any prestige in anything. If you should carry a bag or something, it's all about the team,
right,
in any kind of situation, and that builds you really strong ground to stand on.
Right. So no ego, no self, just the idea of taking care of the team and working with each other along the way. And clearly that's a successful strategy for your years long. You've been successful year after year, so there's something to be said for that. I have a question for John.
Yeah.
When you came into into one of the TAs and you were chasing to make it to the construction hold, you looked over at me and you went like this. You went, talk a bit about during the race here that you were chasing, that at times it was important to go as fast as you could, but not to overextend yourself. How did the team sort of gauge the speed at which they traveled? Was it go, go, go the entire time? Or did you pick times in which to let up and rest?
Yeah, I definitely looked at my and the team's schedule, so know what we are in the race. This race was maybe one of the hardest races to schedule beforehand, because you get so little information about stages. Especially you only get positive altitude meter and stuff like that. So, but we were all helping each other beforehand, and we did a really good race plan, so we know what to expect during the race. And I had like a couple of different alternatives, and it was alternative fast. That was the one that we was going for. And then we also know which states are going to be make it or break it for the world champs.
Right.
Which states are going to be the one that's going to be determined.
Those states, the crux. The
the crux. So we just went for it. And we know this is going to be the hardest on the race, the big trekking. And it was super hard, maybe one of the hardest I have done in my whole life.
That's a really big statement.
Yeah. But there was the combination about, it was like the stage was developing in 4 pieces.
Right.
It started with a quite fast run on roads, so you destroyed your legs nice.
Right.
Then it was a super hard bushwalk that made your less non-energy, and then it was a part where it was like super exposed, right on the edge of too dangerous if you made the wrong decision.
Right.
At one point we were actually cliffed out.
Right.
So we like talked to each other. Fuck, we want to win this world champ, but it's not worth dying. So we actually turned that route choice down.
Right.
And it took some extra hours, but safety is always important. You have to do safety first. And then the last part, as you all know, was a canyon that took forever and was almost impossible to get through. So the stage was like forces you to go fast in the beginning and then eat you up along the way.
Gotcha. And so you knew going into the race, as much as you knew about it, you planned for those things and you relied upon your own experience from previous races.
Yeah, and then when that happened, I was like, yeah, I know the course designer, this is what he wants, so we have to just suck it up and hopefully we'll be the strongest on the outside. And after that, it was more like, okay, team. We managed to get through alive. Let's just try to keep the pace up as good as possible. Hope we manage all the way to the finish line.
Gotcha. Very nice. And I think my last question here, because we're getting near the end of the time here. One of the most common questions that comes across is the idea of sleep strategy. And I have to ask the public, that's what they always ask about. They never ask about your training and your, how do they manage their sleep? So what was the team's sleep strategy and how much did you sleep during the race?
Usually we have the sleep strategy. We don't sleep the first night. We sleep second, third, fourth night. But this race had the dark zone, so which made it a bit. We had to adjust to that. So we didn't sleep anything for the first 2 nights to try to make the cutoffs.
Right, to get through.
So then we could sleep 4 hours in the dark zone.
Okay.
And after that, we didn't sleep anything. Or John allowed me and Malin to sleep for maybe 5 minutes 2 times on the last biking, because we couldn't stay awake. But so I don't think I have ever slept this little in a race.
Right. Well, clearly that strategy paid off over time, right? Because here you are now sitting as champions, right?
Yeah.
And an hour and a half. We don't know how far behind the team is. They're making their way down here, but clearly you led going away, and it was delightful to follow your progress. You know, the gift of the trackers is the idea that we get to see the strategy going on, and there are thousands of people, tens of thousands, who are following along and commenting on it. And so you set a really nice example for those viewers for what kind of race that you want to run here. Yeah. Speaking of sleep, it's sort of hitting you now, right? You had some food, you had a beer, now you're starting to go down a little. So I just want to leave, are there any, a lot of people are going to be watching this, are there any last thoughts that you want to leave with the adventure racing community about Sofit and the legacy that you have and what you want people to think about you as a team when they look back months, days, and years from now about your legacy as an adventure racing team?
Quite a big question, but I think our biggest lesson to other teams is really that one that we have managed this time so good that there's no I, it's only team, and we adapted. Not like we're not just saying it, we live like it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing.
Gotcha. And I think that's the most common theme we've seen over the years with Sofit. It's always been about the idea of the team and working together and taking care of each other in a good humored, good-natured, caring sort of way. Very nice. Anything else anybody wants to share before we go? You want a good sleep and a good shower now, right? Well, Sofit, congratulations again on another World Championship. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.